WWE Clash at the Castle is this weekend, so we're going to sit here and predict the whole card, starting with, I've got a pointer, Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship. Who have you got?
Chad Gable. It's one of the more unpredictable ones on the card for me this weekend. What it is, right? I'm firmly in the belief that Otis, as much as I love him, you love him, everybody loves him, isn't really the key to this story's success. The Gunther Intercontinental title reign was all about re-establishing that belt as meaning something, as being a secondary title, as in second to the world title. And as part of keeping that prestige, they carried on with Chad Gable wanting to win it and him falling just short and all this sort of stuff. We've now moved into kind of a diet bloodline with Alpha Academy, and I get it, and I love the cheers, and I think it's amazing that people go nuts for Otis. But no, like, the belt has still got to come first. Chad has got to have been doing all of this in the quest for that title, and here's where he win it. I don't know if Otis turns here and then Chad wins regardless, or Chad winning the title buys him a few more weeks before Otis finally sees the error of his ways and snaps, and the Creeds reveal themselves as Chad Gable's new friend. Maybe they reveal themselves here, but I think the important thing is you've got to get that belt on Chad Gable. Sami Zayn, as great as he is always the kind of, I think, transitional guy between long reigns. I could see Chad going months and months and months after this, but I think Saturday's got to be Chad tonight.
Yeah, I am torn with this one, because it genuinely could go either way in terms of elongating the story and where you do it. And I think especially, like, if you have Otis sort of screw over Sami, whether you do that, and then later down the line, Otis finally comes to terms with it and then turns on Chad, and then you can do Chad versus Otis eventually. It depends on what's happening with the main event as well, because you've got Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest, and whether there's going to be anything screwy in that as well. And I don't think they'll do two screwy things in one show.
Weird saying that about WWE.
Which is weird saying about WWE. They've got a lot more faith in them than we ever have done before. But I'm still going to go with Chad Gable with this one, because it feels like they've done this match a few times now, and it feels like the right time. And I think no matter how far you go with Chad Gable and a run down the line, and whether it does tie into Otis and he has like an Otis feud down the line as well, I think you need to get the first step out the way first.
What
and the more you do this,
exactly,
the more he keeps on losing and the more you miss this chance, then the less impact it's going to have eventually. So I'm going to go with Chad Gable.
Agree.
I think with something screwy. I think Otis is probably going to do something, like you say, whether there's the Creeds involved as well. I've been showing them a lot sort of in the background, just chatting away. And I think there's going to be something a little bit screwy with it. But I think Chad Gable needs the win now more than Sami Zayn needs this, 100%.
Yeah.
But moving over to the next match, click the magic button. It is the triple threat women's tag match. It is Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn versus the other two, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Starks. The other two.
To be absolutely fair to you, Phil, they are the other two in this match, right? It is a lovely gesture that Alba Fire and Isla Dawn have got this opportunity. They're not the only ones on this card, obviously, to be getting a huge reaction in the Hydro in Glasgow.
You could have let them win on Raw going into the show, just to give you a vague bit of hope that, maybe they might have a chance.
Well, this is the thing, right?
Could have been something.
I don't want our video to just be 5 matches, 5 similar predictions. See you at the weekend. But who else but Jade and Bianca here? Like, I love Jade and Bianca, right? The point is, this team exists right now to one day break up and have the match of all matches. They could maybe get as far as WrestleMania. It will certainly be in a stadium at one of WWE's bigger shows. And in order to get there, you've got to just basically, I was going to say establish them as dominant, but just keep them as dominant as they always look. From the second they came face to face with matching press slams in the Royal Rumble, they were presented as mirrors of one another. Like, obviously, we know Bianca's got all this pedigree and all this prior, whereas Jade's a bit more inexperienced, but like
not anymore.
She can challenge her to strongest, she can challenge her to fastest, she can challenge her to the biggest star, all that kind of stuff. That is all down the line, but these wins matter. Like, you've still got to establish them as this perfect team before you start eroding away. They've got a mega powers thing on their hands here that when they finally split, there will be a belief between both that they are the best. The near fall I expect for Isla Dawn and Alba Fire to be huge, to be a great moment. I could fully see the other two being the ones to take the loss on this particular night. But yeah, Jade and Bianca got to retain for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you on that one. It's, it feels like a no-brainer with Jade and Bianca. I feel like there's still work to be done with these tag belts. They're trying more than they have done a lot in the sort of past well, the entire history of the tag belt. They are trying to get there with it, but there's definitely more work to be done. And I think at least showcasing it on a big stage like this is a step in the right direction. There's more storylines being put into it. There's more women in the tag team division sort of surrounding it.
Yeah.
It's getting there. It just still needs a bit more focus and a bit more time, and hopefully Jade and Bianca are the ones to do that with a bit of a lengthy title reign and some good matches in there as well.
If you remember Backlash fans, it did fall apart a bit in the middle and then came good for that electric sequence at the end.
Yeah.
So these, like, they're not necessarily big stages, but loud stages, memorable stages at these B shows with all these fans that are just buzzing to see the wrestlers. They're probably better than a bunch of, like, stadium six-mans, the likes of which we saw at WrestleMania for Jade and Bianca. I think they're creating memorable moments in this run, and you'll get one. You'll get at least one, whether it be with the Scottish like baby faces on the night, at least getting the near fall, or as you say, some sort of like, it's just some sort of moment, capital M, that establishes them. It's something that you can stick in the video package or something you can...
I was just going to say, at least it'll make a great start montage to a video package.
It's WWE. Like, half of the stuff exists for video packages, and very, very well produced ones at that.
So there you go. Next match. Moving, I don't even know what it is. It's Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles. Love this thing. I'm going to do the thing. Special effects. Yeah. Cody Rhodes.
That was Cody's Pyro.
That was Cody's
the American
Pyro.
Nightmare, yeah.
Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles for the belt in an I Quit match.
Right. I, up until 2 days ago, had it that this was just a cool way to extend Cody Rhodes' first proper post-WrestleMania feud. They had this fantastic match at Backlash, my personal WWE match of the year. They found a way, Cody wanted to work the show, they found a way to get a 3-week extension to the AJ Styles thing and a rematch. Is it going to be as good as Backlash France? Possibly not, but Cody wins and on we go. That was what I thought was going to happen. And then I have to defer to Ibu of Wrestle Purist, who dropped a take on the timeline that blew my mind and changed my entire perception of this. He noted with interest that Cody was bringing Mama Rhodes to Glasgow with him on the plane over to Glasgow, and that when you look back on WWE babyfaces put in I quit situations or surrender situations, it's never by simply tapping out or just suffering the pain. You get, of course, there's always rule-proven exceptions, but for the most part, top WWE babyfaces always have to have something else added to why they would quit or why they would give up or anything like that. The idea that now that AJ Styles has kind of got the OC back together with the Good Brothers and Mia Yim, Mi Chin has bonded with the Good Brothers in NXT, them dragging Mama Rhodes out and forcing Cody to quit in the most unlikely of circumstances on an undercard where there will be most likely like a bigger star than Cody on all the nights. It makes all the sense in the world to me. Like, a flipping of the title will feel like a shock, but there is precedent for this. If you look at Steve Austin in 98 with Kane, if you look at Steve Austin in 99 with The Undertaker, and my personal pet hate / favourite, Randy Orton dethroning Christian 2 days after he won the belt and triggering their Summer Series. Cody winning it back at Money in the Bank, or even stretching it out to SummerSlam for that big moment of Cody becoming a 2-time champion. The story, capital T, capital S, is finished. There are new ones to be told. I think it would feel like one of the big talking points on a show that theoretically should only have one in Drew McIntyre. Opportunity to do some cool stuff here. Like, I think that's what we're going to get. New champion AJ Styles.
Interesting. Hot takes. I'm going to go with Cody Rhodes. I'm
I
going to go with the safe bet.
I get it.
I don't doubt that this match is going to be a hell of a lot of fun. I think Cody Rhodes in an I Quit match situation, when you get the sort of Cody bollocks that often can surround matches, that is great, by the way. There's nothing derogatory about the Cody bollocks. I love the Cody bollocks.
Just giving WWE a merch idea. There you go, yeah.
But
something
like
for the Christmas tree, maybe.
Him sort of like them two like working the mic on an I Quit match style of thing. The kind of the shenanigans that will go into it with the Good Brothers and stuff and everything else, and then Cody overcoming all that to finally make AJ Styles quit in probably some bonkers way at the end of the match. I'm kind of all over this. I really like it. But I think they're more careful about these title reigns at the minute. Although I suppose like coming off the back of something as massive as Roman Reigns is, it would kind of make sense for them to have a little bit of a shock in the kind of pay-per-view when you don't expect it. But yeah, I'm going to say they stick with Cody like at least till SummerSlam with this belt. I
want to quickly shout out our producer Adam Nicholas. He can't point the camera on himself, but in talking about this very decision, he did note the line from the Bloodline the other week that they've got Cody in check and it wouldn't even require the Good Brothers or the anyone within the OC to bring out Mama Rose. It would simply be Solo Sikoa following orders of the tribal chief, whether that be Roman Reigns or The Rock. Mama Rose has been folded in by them a lot before. It could happen again, even if the Bloodline themselves aren't, as of now at least, as of us recording this, advertised as part of this card.
This is very true. You do have not that many Cody friends on the show either. You've got Sami Zayn, I guess. Like when you
since he left for
looking
SmackDown,
back to the WrestleMania kind of thing, he doesn't have as many friends as he did in the build up to the WrestleMania. So maybe that'll tie in as well.
Except the 15,000 packed inside the Hydro going, whoa! But they can't do anything.
They can't.
I'm not coming for the Good Brothers.
But let us know down in the comments who you think's going to win. But next up, we have the Bayley versus the hometown hero, Piper Niven. I don't know if she's from Glasgow. She's probably not, but she's from Scotland. It's close enough for WWE.
Yeah. I've just noticed your Scotland platter. It's almost a tartan effect. It's very nicely in keeping with the show. I've got mixed feelings. Yeah, mixed feelings about this one, you know. Piper Niven, again, WWE doing the nice thing is probably something overdue if you consider the Welsh wrestlers that couldn't get on Clash at the Castle 2022, the heartbreaking case of Emma tweeting her excitement for the WWE Australia show and then getting her released the same day. This stuff sucks, and like the company's got a pretty bad history for it as well. So to look up and down this card and realise that 3 of the matches are populated with Scottish wrestlers, great. Like this is honestly the stuff that should have been happening a long time ago. Of all the matches and all the opponents in all the destinations, I'm not sure this is the right one. I've been in the Hydro, in that building, watching a Raw getting hijacked by the chance for Bayley. We have all collectively, as European/British wrestling fans, been in buildings where Bayley is the top star. Not men, not women, not babyface. Top star, regardless of what she is doing. Mainly because of that 2015 NXT tour. People just do not forget that was like a love affair.
That chant is a chant that will never die.
It will never
she comes
die.
Over here.
She is. I remember like a mixed match challenge match on a SmackDown taping where she was the biggest star of the whole like evening's event.
Yeah.
This will happen again. I can't see Bayley having just turned babyface, like being agented to be the situational heel. I just can't see that happening. Piper Niven has to take the match, and in taking the match, is that going to divide the audience? Is the heavy lifting here going to be done by Chelsea Green to try and get Piper Niven booed? Or is it going to be, I think as Adam Wilborn has pitched on a SmackDown preview, which will be dropping on your podcast feed soon, already there, a suggestion that Chelsea Green's botched interference costs Piper Niven lead into their breakup. Either way, I think Bayley retains, but I think the story of this match is actually how you juggle the what could be a dueling fan base despite their home country favourite.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I think I'm with you on Bayley as well. I don't think it's time to take the belt off her at all. But I think Piper Niven, like, she's got... Well, it's going to be... We don't know if she's got that kind of reaction. Like, she obviously got the ties in. Like, she used to wrestle for ICW and everything. Yeah. Like, she has the sort of local hero kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be, like you say, with the Bayley reactions, whenever she comes over here, it's going to be really interesting. But maybe that'll play into it as well. Maybe they'll play the game and cheer the Bayley face and boo the Piper Niven heel. Yeah. But like a fun hometown boo rather than you go away kind of boo.
Arm around the shoulder for the hugger rather than
exactly.
Rather than real heat. Yeah.
I think Piper Niven needs a good outing in this. Like, she's had a few chances before in terms of like sort of big title match kind of situations, but nothing has ever really shone that much.
No, not in WWE.
And so I think like for her like run in WWE, I think she just needs like one good showing just to prove what she can do sort of at the top of that card. Yeah. In terms of the women's division. And I think Chelsea Green will just be incredibly entertaining because that's just what she does every single time she goes out on TV. She's amazing. I love it. She's so funny.
Don't hate this being the night that they split.
Yeah.
Like, I could absolutely see that. Like, Piper Niven's got potentially someone like a Queen Nia to work with, a Tiffany Stratton, who's just linked up with Nia Jax, as a babyface on SmackDown away from the Chelsea Green comedy. Yeah. Chelsea Green joining up with Nia Jax as part of it, as, like, we've said, as her, like, court jester, maybe. Like, there's
really
more for
Piper. I need someone else to protect me.
Yeah, there's more for Piper Niven to do as a babyface on this brand, and losing in a respectful fashion where she's just tried to do it the right way. Yeah. It's kind of a good start to life as a babyface, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we know what she's like on Twitter.
Yeah,
she can be really good and entertaining. If you let that side of her out on TV, I think that'll be a totally new side to Piper Niven that we haven't seen on WWE TV and could be really interesting going forward.
I'm game.
But finally, what we assume is going to be the main event, just because of the big old beautiful Scottish bastard or whatever they called him on Raw. Yeah. In it, Damien Priest versus Drew McIntyre. Who have you got?
Look in their eyes. Who don't you see? It's the cult of personality. Is he going to be there or not? Right.
That's the biggest question surrounding this match, isn't it?
Weird, isn't it? Yeah. I think WWE haven't done the best job of promoting if Punk's going to be there or not. I think they've put themselves in a situation where there will be an element of disappointment if he's not there, but there will be that sort of willful ignorance of, well, he was never on the poster, he was never in there. I don't think they've squared this enough on television, considering how much people think he almost has to be a part of it. The Rock blew the Money in the Bank thing with the sword reveal that Drew could have been like leaving WWE forever if he wins the title here. They could still do a version of it, I think, where Punk attempts to help Damian Priest, inadvertently botches and helps Drew, and then Drew goes off into his people in the crowd and he's like, sorry Punk, like I'm out of here. It would have been so much more fun if we thought his contract was due as well, but thanks Rock. But I'm going to lean on our esteemed colleague Michael Sidgwick's pitch of the all-timer WWE finish to SummerSlam 1997 for our younger viewers / listeners. Shawn Michaels as the guest referee between Bret Hart and The Undertaker, smashing The Undertaker in the head with a chair and having no choice but to count his most hated rival, Bret Hart, as the new WWE champion. I think Drew benefits from CM Punk's interference in a way most unexpected. He might initially not want to take Punk's help, but some sort of missed chair shot or something along those lines that leaves Drew out lane, leaves Damian Priest out lane, without the Judgment Day there to help him, as we know from the stipulation on Raw this week, gives Drew the win. The idea of like all the Glaswegians who were buzzing to see Punk, suddenly buzzing to see their guy have this golden opportunity to win the title, leaving you with the conversation on Raw of, you couldn't have done it without me. Like Drew McIntyre's title reign with a little asterisk on, like Liverpool winning the Premier League in the pandemic. It still sits there as a kind of disputed finish that gives Drew and Punk their summer rivalry kickoff. And Drew getting his moment as well. Like this is much like the WrestleMania with the belt for a split second. The stadium might not be quite as big as he would have wanted, but the crowd reaction is going to be even louder. The ghost of the pandemic can finally be pushed away for Drew McIntyre. Yeah, absolutely. I think this is... Annoyingly, I've got nothing better than that for this. So it's going to be a really boring end to the video. But I think the CM Punk aspect of this, I actually think maybe them going quiet on the potential of CM Punk being there is kind of on purpose. Because instead of like telegraphing the fact that he would be there and something is going to happen, I think leaving it to go under the surface a little bit and a little bit quieter kind of makes it, the surprise of it when he does show up, all that more that's fair.
Interesting. I think it's either gone one or two ways. Either they've gone quiet on it because they're doing it and they don't want to telegraph that they're doing it, or they've gone quiet on it because the injury is a little bit worse than they thought and he needs a little bit longer than they thought he did. But he's done other things like well earlier, like at WrestleMania and things with the leg sweep. He doesn't need to do that much to be able to get there.
Do you think there will be an element of disappointment amongst the crowd and the people watching if he isn't there? That would be my argument against that.
I think there normally would be if it was anywhere other than Glasgow with Drew McIntyre winning.
Fair enough, yeah.
I think just the idea of Drew McIntyre winning in his hometown, even if Punk isn't there, I don't think you can go away from that show, being in that crowd, feeling unhappy about it because you've just had your guy Drew McIntyre win the belt in Scotland, and it'd be a hell of a huge moment, and like the crowd would go mad, and I think the levels of elation from that won't, the Punk thing not being there wouldn't hurt it.
There we
personally. Go. But I think Punk will be there, and I think he will do exactly what you've just said.
I can't wait for the show, man. I cannot wait.
So there's only one thing where we differ. Let's see who wins. Let us know down in the comments below who you want to win all of these matches and whether you've got any mad booking decisions. This is
everybody wins.
It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going down this Saturday, so make sure you check out Ups and Downs and everything that'll be on the channel after that. But before that, click this video here.